Okay, thank you. Welcome to the Thurston Conservation District Board of Supervisors Board Meeting for May 24th, 2022. Obviously, this is being recorded, audio recorded. With us for the record tonight, we have all supervisors present. That'd be Supervisors David Ayal, Betsy DeVreda, Helen Wheatley, Doug Rushton. We have Executive Director Sarah Moorhead. We have staff member Leah Kellogg, and we have Ryan Bay from the Association of Conservation Districts, WACD. And we also have our counsel, Ben Cushman from Deschutes Law Group. So welcome, everyone. First up here is an agenda review. Are there any changes to the agenda from either board or staff? If none, I'll entertain a motion on our agenda.
I was a little slow, sorry. I'd like to have about a 3-minute executive session to talk about a legal issue. I ran by
Doug, I don't want to get into too much detail here, but is this something we have to do tonight? And I ask because I'm kind of opposed to adding last-minute executive sessions unless we really have to.
No, I don't think we do, but there is a couple of burning questions.
Yeah, I can answer questions outside of the meeting under privilege through some kind of communication.
Okay, I'll do that and then let TJ know and Sarah know what.
Okay.
And if we need a follow-up executive session, I'm happy to schedule one in June with more notice, Doug.
Okay, no, that sounds reasonable to me.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, or if not, a motion on our agenda? Leah.
I have a question.
So I saw Leah first and then Betsy. Go ahead, Leah.
I would like to officially add the 2 items from the work session, which is the Board of Supervisors report and the Executive Director report.
Thank you. So we've modified our agenda to carry those items over from the work session. Thank you for that reminder. Betsy?
I did not see the financial report. Was it sent? Did we receive it? Because I did not see it.
It was posted on the dashboard, but not separately sent as far as I know.
Okay, I have to get used to using the dashboard. I'm still getting used to using the new format for the emails, so sorry, my apologies.
And Betsy, if that doesn't work for you, let us know and we will make sure that you get documents in a way that works for you.
Okay, thank you.
Ellen?
Yeah, if we have time, and maybe we won't, but it might be nice to have at least just a couple of minutes at some point, and maybe it can be squeezed into one of the elements that's already here to talk about the dashboard and the new email. Sort of give some feedback on that now that we've all had a chance to use them.
Yes, I think that's a great suggestion. Could we add that as item D under governance, or sorry, item C under governance and move existing C to D? Okay. If any other changes or a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got Betsy to move. I'm going to take Doug as a second there. So we'll do a roll call vote on our agenda. Betsy?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Helen?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We have approved the agenda. That takes us to consent. We have 3 items on consent tonight. The April 26th work session and meeting minutes, which we worked on, are reviewed in our work session. The May 2022 financial report, which, as we just noted, was posted to the dashboard. And then the document that was in our packet, which was the State Conservation Commission addendum food system support. And this is, I believe, $5,000 for some turkey processing equipment and chillers. So with that, we'll need a motion on consent.
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda.
Been moved by David. Is there a second?
Second,
Seconded by Helen. Our vote, David,
Aye.
Helen,
aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Betsy,
I'm going to abstain since I didn't see the financial report.
fair enough. And I will vote aye, so the consent has passed with 4 yay votes and 1 abstention from Betsy. Moves to item 4, public comment. This is the point at which any member of the public can address the board for up to 3 minutes on a topic of their choosing that's relevant to the district. I don't believe we have anyone from the public here tonight, but if so, this is your opportunity, and I will ask, is there anyone that wishes to offer public comment? Okay, hearing none and seeing no member of the public here, I will close public comment and we will move to partner reports. First up here is NRCS. I don't see anyone from NRCS, and I don't believe we received a written report from NRCS. And as we know, they're in a bit of flux with Robin Buckingham's departure. So perhaps we could ask Sarah to check in with NRCS and for our next meeting have, if not a presentation, certainly just maybe a quick written update from NRCS. Is that something you could do, Sarah?
That sounds great. I did connect with NRCS prior to this meeting. I've got a short verbal update for you.
Okay, well, let's bring it on then.
Absolutely. One, we hosted a very successful local working group meeting last week where Thurston County producers were the strongest representation on that call for our regional local working group, which was fantastic. There's a lot of funding pools that NRCS is opening up, including the Urban Conservation Technical Assistance Grant or Urban Conservation EQIP designation through NRCS. So now our staff has a map of those overlays in the populated areas in Thurston County that are can access that new fund pool. In addition to that, the Sentinel Landscape Fund pool is open as well for EQIP. There's a lot of dollars available for EQIP through NRCS for residents of Thurston County, kind of despite where you live, but certain areas certainly have more. So it's a great time to apply. The second thing is that they have made an offer to a new Robin at NRCS, to a new resource conservationist here at our Olympia Field office. It's a very long process to hire somebody, and they're not quite sure what the timeline is on the start date for this new human. They are an NRCS employee elsewhere in the nation, and so they'll be relocating and transferring here as long as all goes well. In the meantime, Aaron Gutierrez is our soil biologist here at the Olympia Field office and can help forward any questions that anybody might have where they need to go. And that's the NRCS update.
One follow-up question on that, Sarah. On the new urban pool for EQIP, is it the same sorts of projects they funded in the past, just to set aside for urban areas, or are they creating a broader pool of possibilities for using those funds in urban areas?
It's my understanding that the full practice list that is available through traditional EQIP is eligible in those areas, and this is just a targeted funding allocation to help bolster urban agriculture. Within those practice lists are exponential applications that can be scalable to large or urban ag. So that's where it gets a little tricky on the back end of paperwork. If there's something in particular you're looking for, let us know and we're happy to ask that question. My understanding is that pretty much everything is available. If NRCS can cost share on it, it's available through this fund pool.
Thank you. Okay, moving on then, we have the State Department of Ecology, Elena Reynolds. I don't see Elena here tonight, so.
I did see Doug's hand.
Oh, sorry, Doug, go ahead.
Okay, that's okay. I just would add that at a meeting I was at recently, Royleen Wrights at the door said that all the NRCS offices are now open.
Oh,
Right. No Elena, so we'll pass on the State Department of Ecology. And we also do not have Jean here tonight, so no report from the State Conservation Commission. But that will move us to WACD, and I would ask, so we had a written report from Doug. Doug, if you have anything additional to share, and then I would also offer the opportunity for Ryan to share anything that he wants to share since he's with us tonight too.
Yeah, I will point out that Ryan sent out, and he can follow up on this, a thing earlier asking for feedback on the draft 2022-23 WACD work plan, and you all got a copy of that, I think, so we need to have a response to that. And Ryan, please fill in any blanks you think need to be filled.
No, that sounds like the most important thing. Good evening, Thurston CD. I'm attending because I couldn't remember the last time I attended one of your meetings. And I felt that, with the ease of being able to participate, I should rectify that as quickly as possible. So I think the only other WACD update worthwhile is making sure that your board is aware. Forgive me if I got the timeline wrong, but I believe this is your first meeting since David was appointed as the new Southwest Area Director. So he and Doug now are both on the WACD board. That's kind of the only big thing that's worthwhile. I don't have anything really in particular. So if there's something you want me to talk about, I'd be happy to. Otherwise, my goal tonight was to listen and to learn.
Thanks for being here. It's good to have you here. Just a quick question. Has there been any decision made yet on location for the annual meeting and conference?
The short answer is no. The longer answer, TJ, is that we did a survey a couple months ago and have had about 30 people respond to it. The majority of those individuals wanted us to continue our pattern of rotating throughout the state. So if we did 2 years in the Tri-Cities and then 2 years in Tacoma with a 2-year interruption in between, we're going to look at Central Washington location. So the two contenders would be right now the Wenatchee Convention Center and the Yakima Convention Center. I took a look at a hotel in Moses Lake on my way back from the Spokane, where the Conservation Commission was having their May meeting, and that was a possibility as well. But we would also still continue, as now enshrined in our bylaws, the virtual participation component of the annual conference.
Thank you. Doug, do you have anything further on NAC on your report?
No, other than to let you know that there is a Forestry RPG Resource Policy Group webinar. I think it's on the 10th, and I think I sent that to Sarah, so she can distribute that to you all. It's a webinar. We've got a lady from San Juan Conservation District, and then Jenny Coe, who used to be at Skagit, is now at Whatcom, does really good Firewise stuff, to talk about how to prepare your community.
Thank you for that. That will conclude partner reports and move us on to governance. First item here is to go over the appointment and election results and have elections for officers for the coming year. So, Sarah, do you want to talk about this?
yeah, absolutely. One, I do want to share with the board and officially on record that Betsy was reappointed for our appointed supervisor position. TJ, the election was certified, so you will do another term as well. So all 5 of you are open and eligible for our 3 officer positions of board chair, vice chair, and district auditor.
Just point of curiosity, what was the final number of votes cast in our election this year?
That's a point of follow-up. I'll have to come back with you. I don't have those numbers at my fingertip, but I know that NORD did compile that information.
Thank you. Always.
Yeah, it was in the commission's board packet too, for all the district elections around the state.
Okay, yeah, I'm just always curious to know how many people we're reaching with our election information, so thank you. Okay, so with that, we do have to take action to elect officers for the year. And I think we'll just go down the list. We'll start with chair, and then we'll move to vice chair, and then we will move to auditor. So with that, the floor is open for nominations, or I guess motions, or however we want to handle this. Helen?
Mr.
I nominate TJ Johnson for chair.
I second
I'll
that
second.
nomination.
Okay, so there's been a nomination of me by Helen and a second by Betsy. Are there other nominations for chair? Going once?
Pat Paulson died a long time ago.
Going twice? Okay, we'll close nominations for the chair and we will vote on the position of chair with the sole candidate for that job being myself. We'll start with Helen, who made the motion. We'll do a roll call vote. Helen, how
Aye.
do you vote?
Aye.
Betsy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Okay, and I guess I will abstain because I really don't like voting for myself. So we will say 4 aye, 1 abstention, and thank you all for your faith and support. I guess it means I'm doing an okay job, but
You're
if
doing
not,
a great job running these
if
meetings.
not, I know you'll tell me. So none of you are shy. I like that. All right, with that, we'll move to nominations for the position of vice chair.
I will nominate Helen again.
Okay, Doug has nominated Helen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And seconded by David. All right. Are there other nominations for vice chair? No other nominations for vice chair. We will move to a vote. Let's see, Doug, you made the motion. Oh, no, sorry, David, you made the motion. So we'll start with you, David.
I think I seconded, but
Oh,
I'll say aye.
okay. Sorry about that. Who made the motion there?
I did, Doug.
Okay. So
And I vote
Doug,
aye.
Doug votes aye. David votes aye. Betsy?
Aye.
Helen?
Aye, aye.
And I will vote aye as well. There we go. Helen has been elected as vice chair.
My dog voted aye too.
Okay, then we move to the final position, that of auditor. Nominations are now open for the position of auditor.
I nominate David Ayal.
Betsy has nominated David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Doug. Are there other nominations for the auditor position? Hearing none, we will move to a vote. Betsy?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Helen?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. David has been re-elected as auditor. Okay, so we have our officers for the coming year. There we go. That then moves us to item B, board representation on community groups and councils. We had a little matrix in our packet about that, and I think the intention here is to just review that, make sure we're still comfortable with the representation, and can we put that up on the screen, Sarah?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get that up there for you. I was double checking that commission packet that Doug had noted, and there were 311 votes this year, or ballots cast. Yep.
How many of those did I get, Sarah?
I think you received 309 or something. It was very close.
My wife said she was going to vote against me with the write-in, so that would explain one of those two.
Yeah, one of our staff got written in even.
There we go.
This just about knocked him over.
Okay. All right, here we go. We have this matrix of the representations here. There's really 3 on here. We have Helen representing us at TRPC, Doug and David both at WACD. Are the folks in those positions comfortable doing that for another year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, with my position, I'm voted statewide,
Yeah,
but
that's
I
true.
am a WACD board member as well. And my term does expire in the end of 2024.
I guess the other thing we could add.
One of the
Go ahead.
I was just going to say one of the things to note is, you know, some of these are on behalf of TCD, and some of these, you know, like one of the things I wanted to check in with you about, Helen, is your term on the Planning Commission isn't necessarily on behalf of the district. It's a personal interest in the Planning Commission. And does the board want that kind of information listed, or? And similarly, what Doug said, he's voted on as a national director by WACD. So is this meeting the mark?
Well,
Yeah.
I think there's a Go ahead, Helen.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, I don't really want the Planning Commission on there. This, to my mind, should probably just be where the board is being officially represented. That potentially raises conflict of interest issues or something for me if that were sort of to be listed as a representation.
Similarly, for the WACD positions, for example, the Southwest Area Director represents the Southwest area, not just the Thurston CD. And I don't, in my role, don't represent just the Thurston CD. Obviously, it's in my mind.
Yeah, I think it's still useful to keep the WACD positions on here, though, because you wouldn't be there if you weren't the supervisor at Thurston Conservation District. I mean, that's the kind of way I look at it. Like Helen's Planning Commission, she's on that independent of her role as a supervisor.
Yeah.
The
I'm
other
on
one,
a federal employee thing, and I don't even bring that up to you guys. I think changing it to board affiliations, I think that's a good way.
I guess the other thing I'd throw in here is I should probably be listed here as our representative to the City of Olympia Farmland Work Group, because clearly I've been representing the board on that group for the last year or two, and continuing to do so.
And I think we should have the local work group on there.
The NRCS local work group, Doug?
Yes.
Well, we don't have a board member representing us on that, though.
Well, no, it says board. I think it should be TCD affiliations or something, because I think that's a fairly important one.
Well, if we do that, though, and Sarah being the chair of the work group, Sarah is on a whole lot of other organizations. If we're just doing TCD affiliations, and probably some of our other staff are too. This could be a pretty yes.
Yeah, I don't want to make it too big, but I don't know. That seems like an important one to me. Anyway, but we don't want a 14-page thing of what all we're involved in.
I guess it might be useful, actually, now that I think about it, is if we could change that, actually, Sarah, to staff affiliations, because I'm guessing some of our staff are involved beyond you with other community groups and councils, and it might be just educationally good for us to know what staff are connecting with what groups. And we don't have to do that tonight.
Yeah,
you could fill in later.
We keep a pretty robust list of that because managing meetings is a workflow issue. But yeah, we could definitely maybe provide that as a separate attachment.
That'd be great. Thank you.
I would say again that my term expires at WACD in 2024.
Okay, so we'll fill in the staff stuff later. Anything else in terms of board affiliations here we need to add to this list?
David, when does your term expire as Southwest Area Director?
I'll have to double check. I think it's at the end of this year. It's a short one.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Isn't there a Thurston Ag Committee too?
So Sarah, maybe after you fill out the full staff affiliation list, you could just send this document out as an FYI to the board.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'd be interested in figuring out too, have everybody look at it and see, are there any gaps? Are there any groups that we're missing and should be involved with?
Good. Okay. Let's move then on to the next item on our agenda, which I believe is a check-in on our new system, right? Yep. Board dashboard and new email feedback. I think, Helen, you asked this to be on the list, so why don't you start?
Okay, well, I mean, one thing I wanted to, it's sort of a question, you know, Doug, when I tried to open up your links that were provided on your report, I couldn't do it. And I don't know if that's because it's, you know, in this new system, but, you know, I clicked on your report, I opened it to read it, but when I tried to click through to things that you had there, like say, you know, well, I don't know, you had a few things on there that had links, and nothing happened. So I think that might be a question about the platform that it's on now, that maybe we need to look.
I don't think you want me advising you on computer stuff either.
No, I'm just phrasing that as a potential issue. And then I guess for me, you know, and maybe this is something that is on my end and I just need help with it, but you know, when it was on the other server, I found it easy to put it on my, you know, general collection of inbox stuff, you know, so that I'd always get a notice when something popped up in the Conservation District email. But I don't know how to do that now with it being on this platform. And so I don't know if other people have found ways to do this, but I need to actually click in and check, you know, make a point of checking in from time to time to see if there's any email or not.
Yeah, I have a reminder set up twice a week so that time doesn't fly by. That just reminds me to check it, and that comes to my personal email, if that's helpful.
I just was going to say.
We can help you integrate that. Sorry, David.
Oh, no problem. I just agreed with Helen. I had the same issues. I use a Outlook app that I can get all my emails on, and I'm really having a tough time with this one.
Yeah,
these are really easy to integrate into Outlook. These new emails are really easy to integrate into your Outlook app, and we can definitely help you do that.
Betsy, your hand is up next.
I would like to know how to move the list of emails to the top, because that's what I'm used to. And I haven't seen how to do that. You know what I mean?
I am not sure what you mean and what your screen looks like. When you access your email, all of ours is connected to our desktop Outlook, so I think it probably looks very different. But I think it's something that we could definitely do some share screen with our IT and make sure it's in a view that you like.
Okay, so who should I contact about that then?
Since multiple individuals are needing some sort of refinement, we'll have staff reach out to you to set up an appointment to work on that so that everybody's questions are answered or changes are made. So don't worry, you don't have to do anything. We'll call you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And I think for me, a lot of I've noticed several emails didn't transfer over from the Google account to the new Outlook account. Or if they're there, they're not where they used to be in the same folders. What I find is that the more I use it and snoop around with it, it's coming. It's way slow though.
I'll look into that, Doug, and see if there's anything else that we can do to make sure that you get those emails.
Well, I think Michael said I had everything that was there, so that makes me a little nervous.
The one request I would make, it goes back to Betsy's point about the financial report tonight. If there's something that's not in the packet when it comes out or when the original stuff gets posted, it would be good to get an email that says, hey, this has now been posted. As I was getting ready for tonight's meeting, I was like, oh, well, I don't see anything. And I didn't get an email about the financial report, but I went to the dashboard and there it was. But it would be just kind of a good reminder if it's not in the first iteration or the first version of our packet when it's posted, just a reminder that, oh, this has been added, it's now in your dashboard.
Absolutely. You should be getting those emails every month. We'll make sure that that happens. Thank you for letting me know, TJ.
And I would like to get it, I don't know when it did get put on the dashboard, but I would like more than just today to look at it because it's going on the consent agenda. So if I have questions for Susan or Jan, I want to have time, and Tuesday's a day for me where I'm not at my desk. So if it could happen at least by Monday early would be great.
Yeah, they're always posted the Friday before each meeting, but we'll make sure that you get an email reminder with a link to the dashboard where the financial report is, just so that you know that it's been uploaded. Yeah,
Great.
No problem.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, anything else on this topic of new technology? Helen?
Yeah, just it says in your report, Sarah, that monthly staff reports can be found on the board portal, but I don't know where to look for them. At least I couldn't see them.
Yeah, we have a much more expanded board portal now. I'll also make sure that I include a link in that report. So when you're reading through my report, you can also just click the link and it'll take you right to that page.
Okay.
Can you tell me, because I have the dashboard open, can you tell me where it is right now or not? Is it?
If you'd like to screen share, I can help with that, Betsy. I don't have it pulled up on my end.
Sure. Is that useful to anyone else?
Well, I mean, I don't know where to find them. You know, you click on board portal and you don't see it. So.
All right, shall I share my screen? I'm doing it. This. So there it is. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
So now
Yeah,
what?
so what you're seeing here is only the meeting materials for the May 2022 board meeting. What you're not seeing here is the actual board portal. So the upper left-hand corner where it looks like a bunch of people are sitting around a table, if you want to click on that icon that says TCD board portal, left side.
People sitting around a table?
There's like 4 people and it says TCD board portal. It's right next to the agenda icon.
Oh, yeah, okay. Click on that.
So this will take you back to your, this is your command ship. This is your everything in one place, all of your major stuff. The dashboard that you were just in just had the May meeting materials. This one has more of the high level stuff for governing the district. So it has reimbursement and expense stuff, strategic plan, annual plan, and then it has a whole board meeting section here. Let's see. Although you bring up a good point, I don't see the staff. It should have been listed under resources next to the annual report and the vacation calendar. So let me connect with Yen and see where that icon went, and we'll make sure that that's back up there, but it should be there, that it should be under those resources. We can also include it in each of the board meeting dashboards as well, whatever is easiest.
That's easiest to put it with the board meeting stuff.
Sure. Yeah, it's not a problem for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for letting me know that it has disappeared.
Okay, anything further on this topic? Okay, hearing none, that moves us on to item D, the work session topic list and meeting agenda development for June. We have a draft we can put up.
Yes. And I apologize, I just exited out of that on accident.
Well,
let me pull that up right now.
I want to ask the board a question. So I've been feeling like the last couple of meetings, we've moved pretty fast through the work session. And we've had a lot of stuff on our work session topics. And I mean, there's a couple of ways we could approach that. One is to extend our work sessions, start earlier or go a little bit later. The other is to put less stuff on our work sessions, but I've been feeling a little bit of pressure to keep things moving on those work sessions so we can try to get through everything. And at least the last two meetings, we actually didn't get through everything, and we had to move a little bit, onto our board meeting agenda. But what are folks thinking about that? Do you want to continue with, because we've been doing this now for a few months as a bit of an experiment, but how's that feeling to everybody? Betsy?
I would be happy to add a half hour, maybe 15, wherever you see fit. Maybe, I don't know if it can change legally each month, but we've cut from 4 hours to 2, and I also feel like we're rushing, we're moving things forward, we're not getting as much time. I would be happy to add a half hour.
Would folks be opposed to starting the work session at 5? And is that, if that's possible, and then maybe actually giving ourselves more than 5 minutes between the two, where we could actually, have a bite to eat or something? Or does 5 o'clock present problems for anyone?
Okay.
Depends on the specific day, but we can do it for a while and see how it works, just like we did with this.
I'd be good with 5.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's start our June work session at 5 o'clock, and let's say that it'll go 5 to 6. And then we give ourselves a little time there before the board meeting. And certainly, as long as we're all continuing to attend virtually, that's an easy fix. If we get back into a situation where we're all in a physical space together, we might want to not have a full half hour between meetings, but let's try this for now and sort of see how it feels. And thank you. It takes a little bit of pressure off the chair, who's been feeling a little bit of stress about moving through those things. So with that, we have our next work session lined up here. You can see it in front of you. I guess on the staff presentation, Sarah, now that we have finalized the report with the City of Olympia on the work that Adam did, would that make sense to have Adam make that presentation in June?
I believe so. We've talked about that. I seem to remember there might be a vacation conflict that week with Adam's schedule. Let me double check and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
You
That's
could go to the dashboard. That's where those things are.
excellent.
Betsy's right.
Okay.
We had talked about adding the remote attendance stuff,
Yeah, though we're going to need to
TCD
take
policy.
action on that. So I think we'll have to put that on the board meeting agenda under governance versus
Yeah.
the work session.
Yeah, you're right.
Could we scroll down to the board meeting agenda and let's make sure we've got that remote meeting attendance identified under governance.
Yep, it's there.
Okay, it's there. Okay, good. And then anything else to add to this? Do we do our mid-year budget review in July or June?
July. We do our state fiscal year end in June, and it's due the beginning of July. So then we have our report ready for the board.
I will note here that I will not be at the July meeting. I will be blissfully off grid on July 26th. So our illustrious vice chair will be running that meeting.
Wow, in the middle of the summer? Good for you.
Some things are non-negotiable.
I think one of the things we might want to add for the work session is just about a 5-minute update on the Wade conference debrief.
Will that have taken place before the June meeting, Doug?
Yeah, I think it's the 12th and the 13th of June,
Okay.
something like that.
Yep, let's add that. And then based on our prior conversation, Doug, if you feel like after talking with Ben, we need an executive session to talk about litigation, let's hold open that possibility of adding executive session as item 7 on our board meeting agenda in June.
Yeah, that talking with Ben and Sarah will help me refine exactly what I'm thinking. And
Okay.
Um,
Betsy?
Tried to note it on my calendar, but it wouldn't hurt for someone to give us a little reminder that the time is going to start at 5, that the meeting will start at 5. I don't always look at
Yeah.
my calendar for things like that. It's like, oh, same old meeting.
We're happy to do that.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, it looks like we have a draft work session list and board meeting agenda for June. That then moves us to the item we move from our work session to the board meeting, which is our reports. We'll start with board reports first, and I'll go from the top of my screen here. David, do you have a report?
I do not have a report today.
Okay, Helen?
Nah, me neither.
Let's see.
I don't have a report exactly, but yesterday I was talking to Sierra Smith at WSU Extension, and he mentioned some mowing equipment that was for sale in Squim. I haven't been able to track down who or the details, but he was suggesting it might be a useful thing to purchase. And I know that down here, it's harder and harder to find people to mow hay. So I wondered if maybe that should be on the agenda, or how should we proceed regarding acquiring mowing equipment for people who would have to own their own tractor, of course.
Maybe that might be a great work session presentation and conversation, because we keep a running list of high priority equipment pieces that the community is requesting that we add to our equipment rental program. And that helps inform a lot of funding development that we do to obtain that equipment. So that might be a really great conversation for the board to review that and share feedback on that list, see what we might be missing in the broader context, unless you would prefer just to talk about this specific opportunity, Betsy.
No, that sounds perfectly fine. Thank you.
Based on what we just saw with the June work session, we don't have a lot on it, so maybe we could take that on in June.
Great.
Ellen, I saw your hand next.
Yeah, well, it just occurred to me, you know, I attended the Ag Advisory Committee meeting, and I thought I'd at least raise the point that they seem to still be needing members. Like Sarah could probably fill us in on the details of that, but we should maybe individually be thinking about whether we know anybody that could be recruited to that. Anyway, just a note.
Doug, do you have anything to report?
No, other than the important dates at the bottom. The Wade Conference is the 13th through the 15th. Starts noon on or 1 o'clock on the 13th and goes through noon on the 15th. So that, again, it's pre our next meeting.
I got two quick things following up on Helen's point about the ag. Sorry, Doug, did I cut you off?
No, that was me.
No,
I just noticed she should change the time on that. Just scroll down one line. Because we've changed the time for the meeting.
Yep. Two quick things from me. I did follow up based on our discussion last meeting with a letter to the county commissioners reiterating the county ag advisory committee's highlighting of the farmland loss crisis in Thurston County. So that letter went to the county commissioners, I think the week after our last board meeting. And then thing two, the next meeting of the Olympia Farmland Work Group will be coming up here the first Tuesday in June. We have two more meetings to put our recommendations together for the City Council's Land Use Committee, and we've got a pretty long matrix of ideas at this point. So I think the next meeting or two will be really honing those down into what we think the priorities are for the city. Based on what I'm seeing, one big piece of this is going to be some sort of funding source for farmland preservation and or farmland continuation in the county. So there's some options we're talking about on the table, a county or a city version of conservation futures perhaps, or we're kind of looking at what legally might be possible for the city to do in terms of dedicated funding for this under existing statutory authority, and then what might need to be changed statutorily if we wanted to kind of think more broadly or bigger. So probably, you know, by the, well, I won't be at the July meeting, but I'd say by the August meeting, I'll be able to provide a pretty thorough update on that work in terms of our recommendations to the City Council's Land Use Committee, and then the Land Use Committee's response and direction to the City Council based on that. Yeah, Helen?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, TJ, I don't know if you're tuned into this, but the city of Olympia got funding to do the tree canopy survey that they weren't able to do the last time around, and I did provide input via the gosh, what meeting was it? Was it TRPC? I can't remember, but I suggested that they use this opportunity to also, since they're doing this LiDAR work anyway, that they broaden their data collection beyond just tree canopy and look at potential farmland and open space land as part of their data collection. And so you might want to consider that as a recommendation or something, you know.
That's interesting because Adam has actually done that work for the city of Olympia already. We've looked at those potential parcels that would be possible or existing farmland already. So it might just be taking the data that Adam's already compiled and including it into that report versus generating new data. because
Yeah.
Adam spent a lot of time on that.
Right. Well, I was kind of thinking about that, and you know, I think they need to be encouraged to turn it into it sounds like they're very focused on turning that their LiDAR effort into, you know, channeling it directly into an urban forest policy, urban tree policy, you know, like Tumwater did. But the feedback from a lot of people in the community is there's not time for that. That's going to take years. Find ways to use the data now and find ways to do the policy now. So it wouldn't hurt for the city to hear that.
Thank you. It will, that message will be conveyed. Okay, that concludes board reports. Is there anything from our ED to report?
I don't have any report, but I would be happy to respond to your question about the Ag Advisory Committee if that's helpful, or I can send that via email.
Well, Helen nodded her head, so why don't you tell us now?
Sure. Two things. One, yes, the Ag Advisory does have several farmer and some non-farmer member vacancies on the committee. The county commissioners have received a couple of applications for those seats and have not made any appointments or reappointments in the last couple of months. Several members of the committee left and shared some concerns about the committee's function. Since then, the county commissioners have asked the Ag Advisory Committee to look at the makeup of the committee itself. What industries are represented? What demographics are represented? Where might those gaps be? And start to find pathways to increase access and diversity of those members of the committee itself. I'm not certain that there is a clear pathway on what will move this process to the county commissioners appointing individuals. That saying, I'm not sure that there's a timeline in place that if folks that you're speaking with were to apply, that they would be making selections. But I would say it's probably a rolling open enrollment right now, and I would anticipate the county commissioners to consider this after their requests have been fulfilled. So just something to note. If you know somebody who's applying, it doesn't sound like they're making appointments right now. Of course, that could change tomorrow, but there is this request on the committee first to look at representation. And that's what I've got.
Well, if there's nothing else, and thank you, Sarah, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, we all really enjoy each other's company, but I'm going to propose a resolution that we adjourn.
Okay, Helen has moved to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by David. And we will vote on adjournment. Helen?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Betsy?
Aye.
Doug?
I, with the proviso that maybe Ryan has something he might want to share before he leaves, or if we leave. Very quickly, if any.
Anything to add, Ryan?
No, thank you for the opportunity, but I felt like I shared my piece during the partner report.
Thank you. I will vote aye on the motion. So with that, we have decided to adjourn our May meeting here. So thank you all. It's 7:25.